What is up, guys? Winner Kills here. Welcome to a brand new post-commentary duel video. We've got a matchup perhaps some of you have been waiting for a little bit of time now. We've got my friend Adam playing a bit of a pure Sky Striker build versus me playing what actually is a pure Mermail build. No Sekka in the main deck, playing a Moray engine and a much more standard extra deck without the nightmares. Focused more on going second and just playing the deck like its roots was played at, and just kind of playing it as an OTK deck and piloting it in that fashion. However, since yesterday when this video was recorded, I have completely updated my build to run the full Nightmare Link extra deck with just 3 XCs, which is Galaxy Tomahawk, Bahamut Shark, and Totally Awesome, because I think you just need the power of the Nightmares to at least stand a chance with Mermail against a deck like Brandish after playing against it a couple times the other day. It's a busted deck, and you need to have access to the busted cards yourself to sort of stand a chance, if you will. But like I said, I've pretty much changed my build completely since then, because I no longer feel like this build is capable in this format. Like I said, I've been doing a lot of experimenting, and this is the build that I happen to be playing with at this certain time. And I was going to switch to the build while I was here at my locals, but I didn't have the cards I needed with me to swap out, thus making me play the build that I was currently playing. So he's going to activate multi-roll. He has got the field spell on board, the Sky Striker airspace, and he's going to activate another Startup Engage. Add Hornet Drone. Startup Engage is probably the most busted card in the deck. Easy 3 of. You play it, you search a Sky Striker card, except I think you can't search itself. I think that's the only restriction it has. Yeah, but then if you have 3 or more spells in your grave, you get to draw a card when you play it. So why not just add that effect in as well? Just get a free draw, get a search, you know, etc., etc. And then the Link monster he has on board currently is the Shizuku, which basically lowers all your opponent's monsters by 100 attack and defense for every spell engraved. And then once returned during the end phase, if this card was special summon, this turn you can add a Sky Striker spell from your deck to your from your deck to your hand with a different name from the spell cards in your graveyard. So you saw him there add Afterburner because he did not actually play that card during that turn, hence why it was not in his graveyard. For me, I opened up rather poor, and for me at this point, I'm not only wondering, you know, what really are his sets right now. I know one of them is possibly a Widow Anchor, which is a Snatch Deal and a Forbidden Chalice, or I should say a Change of Heart and a Forbidden Chalice. I do not have Megalow's effect to activate here to dodge a card like Ash Blossom, since I opened my search target for Megalow, leaving my Dragoons wide open to hand traps such as Ash Blossom. And, of course, there's the Ash Blossom right on time. Now, Shizuku is dropping all of my monsters by 100 attack for each spell in his grave, which I think might be like 400 or something like that. 400 or 500 attack it's being dropped by for every spell. He's going to go ahead and take 1200. And I could summon the Aqua Spirit. I could summon the Prince. But I kind of want to just take my turn slowly. I don't want to invest too much. Because if I know I invest another card in my hand, and he does have a card like Widow Anchor set, he's just going to steal it, chalice it, and then I'm not going to be able to use it that turn, or he's just going to link it away, or something like that, and I don't really want that to happen, so I'm just kind of pacing myself a little bit. I know he can't OTK me, I know I'm not at risk for that. Foolish Burial Goods finally finding a good home in a deck, such as this one, being able to send any spell to the grave, including itself, putting itself in the graveyard, is really, really good. That Hornet Drone, of course, will be banished because it was set, I think, the previous turn by Shizuku. And then that'll get a token to go into Kagari. And then I believe he added a Startup Engage, play Startup Engage to search Widow Anchor. That card is just absolutely insane. Draws into what looked to be another Foolish Burial Goods. I don't know if Foolish Burial Goods is once per turn. I'm assuming it is, though. Although I'll hold my judgment. Now, Mizuchi did negate multi-roll, because Mizuchi says when a spell effect that was activated on your opponent's side of the field resolves, negate that effect, then send this card to the graveyard. Now, a card like multi-roll, and I don't think I was thinking about this at the time for some reason. So then if multi-roll remained there, wouldn't that effect just be permanently negated then? And it's not just like until the end phase. Because Mizuchi never states like how long the effect is negated. It just says negate that effect, then send this card to the graveyard. It's kind of a very weird wording on Mizuchi. I don't know. Like, I just had always assumed that, you know, the next time they go to use the effect, it's not negated, but then again, it would just still be negated from its first use. I don't know. Call me a terrible player if you want, but Mizuchi has had such a weird wording for a long time. Widow Anchor, taking Megalo, summoning Sky Striker, Ace Ray, of course, has the ability to tag out for a link monster, and when in grave, if one of the links is destroyed, it'll summon itself out of grave. Very, very annoying. And the one thing about Sky Strikers currently, until they get Hayate, the wind link monster, this deck really has no way to really OTK. It's just very hard for it to put damage on. He's going to go ahead and link 3 for Decode Talker here. Not wanting me to have my Megalo back, damn you. It is what it is, though. Smart play by him. Going to go ahead and steal the Megalo and link away with it. And use full Metal Foes Fusion, or Metal Foes Fusion, whichever one it is. Shuffle itself back into the deck to get a draw. Hopefully mulligan into something nice. And it's going to be Toon Table of Contents, Toon Table of Contents, Toon Table of Contents, into Toon Cyber Dragon, of course, for the Chimera Tech Mega Fleet play. That could be a possibility later on. It's just a nice out to any really pesky extra Monster Zone cards you may have to deal with. You could run the Toon Engine in this deck. You could run the Spellbook Engine. I think the Spellbook Engine personally is a bit better because it actually nets you an extra draw, I think, off Spellbook of Knowledge. So we get things started here with Prince. I know he still has Widow Anchor set, but like I have nothing to get around the card anyways, but it's going to go through. The summon's good. The effect is good. I go ahead and send for cost. I'm reading the field spell because I believe when it dies, he summons one from deck. A Sky Striker monster, which of course would just be Ray, which would be bad because then he can tag out. But then again, I don't think he'd be able to use any of his spells, but he's going to use Hornet Drone as I send Dragoons and add Megalo and Infantry. Hornet Drone will give him that token on board. This card is targeted. If this card in the field zone is sent to the graveyard by a card effect, you can special one Sky Striker Ace monster from your deck. So, yeah, I think looking back, since I've really never played against this deck, I know cards like Kaijus and just having monsters on your opponent's field in general are tough. He does use Decode to negate and to tribute away the token of Decode. A Megalo tribute for cost, and he'll steal it with Widow Anchor, of course. But I probably should have just destroyed the field spell, but I think it's a you can effect, so he didn't have to special summon it. But then at that point, he's just losing the field spell without gaining its effect, which is nice. I'm able to go into Bahamut Shark here and summon Toad. I get to search the Prince because that'd probably be the best normal summon I'd want next turn. I'm forced to summon the Toad in that position, though, which is really unlucky because it's going to give his Decode an extra 500. And I can't use, like, Bahamut to attack over because if I attack over with Bahamut, then he's going to... I'm not going to be able to use Bahamut. And secondly, he's going to be able to have that extra Monster Zone open to be able to go into more of his Sky Striker Link monsters. He's going to activate another copy of Multi-Roll here and Afterburner. And that card is just cool because, you know, why stop at destroying a monster when you could destroy a spell too? You know, why not? Why not just give every spell card in the deck 2 effects? Because, you know, why is 1 enough? Let's give it 2 effects. Destroy monster, destroy spell, Widow Anchor for game. We go into game 2, as I was pretty low on life points earlier, taking that, I think it was like 2k from Kagari, the 15 from Ray, and the 24 from Megalo. I opt to go first here. really wanting to go first to at least start off with some sort of Moulin play if I can make it happen. So I start things off, of course, with the Prince, sending Dragoons, adding Dragoons and Megalo, trying to make this play work. I do have Moray in hand and Twin Twister, as well as Droll and Lockbird, so I'm up pretty well here. And I ditch the Prince in my hand because I didn't really have any other good water targets in the hand to discard, because I had Droll, Twin, and Moray. I could have Morayed Agreed 2 cards away and hoped I'd draw it into something good. I would have had to Moray away the Dragoons and the Prince, which would have been pretty bad, come to think of it. But I think at this point, having that Prince in hand and not another water kind of is what hurt me in a certain way from being able to make the play that I wanted to make. So I go ahead and link 2 into Mistarboy, and I'm just not able to get the Moulin play this turn. I didn't want to take the risk and lose a decent hand to Moray. Granted, I think hindsight 2020, I probably should have done it just anyways because my hand was already bad enough, and I should have been able to fix it. He's going to activate Jamming Waves. I'm going to go ahead and that's going to be negated by, of course, Mizuchi. He's going to play the Field Spell, target a set, free pot of Duality. He gets to add or don't add. He's not going to add any of those and shuffle them back in the deck. Add Tune Table. And then when he adds off the first Tune Table, I'm going to Droll and lock him and hopefully stop his turn right there. He does have Sky Striker, Ace, Ray in hand, though, which is kind of a problem because I could possibly OTK, had he not have that card, because the ability for that card to float is just insane. He's going to be able to use the Hornet Drone to go into Kagari, add back the Skill Jamming Wave, which is going to be a pop for him. I'm going to go ahead and chain Twin Twister and hit his 2-set back row. It's Metal Foes Fusion and his Field Spell as well. I probably shouldn't have done that. All the misplays happening. What else is new? I didn't expect to win this matchup anyways. Granted, had I gone for the Moulin play and been able to make it happen, I probably would have been able to make a decent play. What is this one? I think is Shizuku. Shizuku's going to hit the board here in the end phase to help my monsters lose a couple hundred attack and defense. He's able to run over Mistarboy. And I'll be able to, of course, add back off Mistarboy. I have Diva in hand, so I decided to add the Dragoons to hand to fuel a possible Megalo play next turn. And then he's going to go ahead and pass it over to me. Now, I do lose a little bit of attack points. I think 100, 200, 300, 400, 500. So all my monsters are down by 500. Diva at 0. Prince at 300. Prince comes out uninterrupted, able to send Dragoons. And I have Dragoons and Infantry in hand. So I send Dragoons, add Infantry and Megalo. So right now, OTKing would normally seem like not out of the realm of possibility, right? Summon Megalo, discard Infantry and Dragoons. And at this moment, I honestly don't know what it was better to pop with the Infantry, either the Shizuku or the Ray. Of course, like the floating that can happen here is pretty ignorant, if you ask me. Now, there's a couple of ways I could have gone about this play, 2 really being the main ways that I think I could have gone about it. I had Marksman off of the Infantry, because adding a Megalo, I wouldn't even be able to summon it, so there's no real point in doing that. I tribute for 1 Megalo to attack twice. I use the Prince to summon out the Dragoons. Now, here I could have either used my other Megalo to tribute Diva to attack twice and try to put in damage, but if I go to attack with that Dragoons over the Ray, he just tags out into Kagari, and I can't beat over it because it's at 2k because of its own effect, and then I just lose that attack declaration with Dragoons. So I think actually maybe going into the Coral Dragon was a bit better, but of course, even if that other Megalo is attacking twice, I swing over 400, I have to lose an attack to that other brought out Ray that brings itself out because, it just keeps summoning itself all the time, and then I swing in for 48, so only able to put in like 52 points of damage. I was thinking the other way, I don't make Coral Dragon, I tribute Diva to attack twice, try to put in more damage, and then go for Red Eyes Flare. But I think that leaves him probably at like 800 damage or 800 life points or something over that, like, and he's still able to resolve the 1 contents, and then go into Mecha Fleet, getting rid of my Red Eyes Flare, because, you know, that's a cool card too. And then at that point, I would have nothing on my field right now, had I invested into that play. So at least I have 2 Megalos, and I'm forcing him to crash. Because I was just reading this over, or watching this over a couple of times. I just wanted to know if there was really any way that I could have won right there. And I just, honest to God, don't think that there was. I could beat myself up a bit and say I kind of made... I don't really know if making, like, the Coral Dragon was the best play, but he's able to Widow Anchor, crash, and then swing him for 24. So, like, you know, I just lose my field either way. And, like, it's just, I think it's just pretty bad all around. I don't know. I don't know what I could have done, really. I ended up drawing to Unending Nightmare, which is a card I was siding in. I wouldn't recommend siding in. The only reason I was siding it in was strictly because I did not have anti-spells at the moment. So I just had it in place of something else. Granted, I probably should just not have sided in the first place. Understandable. Call me a bad player if you want. Sure, go ahead. I haven't heard that one before. And he has Kagari on board, which is just going to tag out into another one. So he just tags out into the fire one, and then Teus can't do shit to beat over it. This is really, again, why I want to play the Link heavy build, because I feel like I just have more plays, more like a deeper pool of plays to expand into. And he goes into the Kagari as expected. I set 1 and pass. It's a Twin Twister. I think it's a Twin Twister. No, I believe it's the Unending Nightmare. Main reason, I guess, if I had to provide a logic for siding it in, it would just be for the multi-roll and the field spell, just to keep hitting those. Because I feel like multi-roll is the best spell in the deck next to Startup Engage. But, you know, hindsight's 20/20 as per usual. He's going to go ahead and swing over for, I think, maybe 300 or 400, however many spells and graves he has, and then goes into Shizuku and uses its end phase ability to go ahead and grab Startup Engage. And I believe that will get sent to the field or added to his hand. Always forget what their effects do, but... And then I pass, set 1 more, and I think I end up passing it back to him as I set 1 monster. I believe it is the gun that I set. There's multi-roll. I flip up the order, which I believe I ended up drawing for turn that previous turn, which is the card I wanted to see turn 1, because that would have been an auto win, 100%. The deck literally cannot out that. Like 100% cannot out it, but he goes for Hornet, drones, summons that token and attack, or it comes out in defense first, I believe. And then he summons Ray, attacks the set gun, attacks for 15. The token is in defense. And I'm going to take 700 in my next standby phase. I draw into a monster that does, or I draw into another trap, and it does nothing for me, which is really, really unfortunate. I feel like I could do the math all day and calculate every scenario, but unless one of you guys want to do that in the comments, I feel like I might have been able to OTK game 2 there at that like one of the last plays before I made Coral Dragon. I have no idea though. I'd rather not just spend the time dwelling on it. I think the deck is definitely beatable given the right cards, and if I adapt my build a little bit. So don't lose hope, Mermail players. We still, the chances may be lessened, but we still have a bit of a fighting chance in this format, 100% in my opinion. Don't expect to beat Brandish every game, because it's probably not going to happen, but yeah. Anyways, hope you guys enjoyed this video. Leave a like if you didn't. As always, Winter Kill signing out. We'll see ya in the next one.